Hi, so in this video, what we're going to do is look at differentiating the trigonometric function sec. So we want to differentiate with respect to x, the function sec of x. So as a reminder then, sec of x is just defined as the reciprocal of the cosine function. So just 1 over cos is our definition of sec. And so we want to differentiate sec of x in this video. So what we're going to do then is just rewrite sec of x as 1 over cos of x. And then from that, we can actually just use the quotient rule, which we did in a previous video. Since we've got a fraction or a quotient of two functions, namely the one function, and the cosine function. So yep, so our quotient rule was this. So when we differentiated two functions where the denominator was a non-zero function, what we got was so the derivative of g of x multiplied by, the derivative of f of x, the numerator, multiplied by g of x, and then subtract the derivative of g of x multiplied by f of x, and then all divided by g of x, all squared. So that was our quotient rule. So we can just use this in order to differentiate 1 over cos. And so if we do that, we can just equate the f of x to the number 1 and the g of x to cos of x. And so we know that when we differentiate the number 1, a constant with respect to x, we're just going to get 0. And we know that when we differentiate cos of x, so we know from a previous video that we did, that the derivative of cos of x is negative sine of x. And so we can just substitute these numbers in. Obviously, we've got g of x all squared is just cos all squared. And so we can just plug in all of these numbers into our formula over here. And so we're going to get, so the derivative of f of x was 0. So this term there is just going to go to 0. That just goes to 0. So we're going to get 0 minus, and then the derivative of g of x we found was negative sine of x. So we've got a negative sine of x in there. And we're multiplying this by f of x, which is just the number 1, just the unit function. So times by 1 there, but we don't really need to worry about that. And then divide that all by g of x squared, so that's cos squared of x. Okay, perfect. So now we can just kind of simplify this. So we've got 0 minus sine of x, that's just sine of x. And that's all divided by cos squared of x. We can actually just rewrite this in a different kind of way. So this is just the same as sine of x over cos of x multiplied by 1 over cos of x. Okay, so we've got sine of x over cos of x, 1 over cos of x. So we should know that sine of x over cos of x is just the same as tan, so the tangent function. And by definition, 1 over cos of x is obviously just sec of x. And so from here, we know that the derivative of sec of x must be tan multiplied by sec. So therefore, derivative of sec of x is going to equal tan of x multiplied by sec of x. And yeah, so that's the final answer with this derivative.